right? Whoever was in the waiting room is not anymore. There we go. Hello, welcome. How's everybody doing today? We're going to give everybody a couple minutes just to file in. Appreciate you guys being here. Hello. Just giving everybody a couple minutes here. All right, guys, we're going to get started in just a minute. Just letting everybody get in. Appreciate you joining us today. Got a lot of cool stuff to go over. Should be very valuable for you guys. Of course, you guys know if you need anything, feel free to go in the chat and let us know. We're going to be doing a Q&A at the end. So if questions come up, we can get to them there. Hello. I see we got Nitsa in here. We got Teresa in here. Brandy, how's everybody doing today? Appreciate you guys joining us. Just giving a minute to let everyone get in, and then we'll get going. Just a minute here. All right, guys, just about 30 more seconds. Let anyone else file in, and then we'll get going. All right, cool. So let's get it going. I'm sure more people will be filing in as we go, but let's get it started. So welcome everybody. Really appreciate you guys being here with us today. Thank you for joining. Just to give you a quick intro, my name's Colton. I'm part of the marketing team over here at Documint. And our guest speaker, or our expert speaker, I should say, was going to be Josh Mamroud. As I'm sure you guys know, he is the foremost expert in automation on the Documint team here. So he's going to give you guys a ton of insights, ton of value. And, whether you're a beginner with this stuff or whether you've been using it for a while and you're looking to take that next step and leveling up, there'll be a ton of value packed in there for you. So let's just go over the agenda real quick, and then we'll dive right into it. So today we're going to do just a quick overview of the integration, the Documint app, how that works. We're going to get into automating workflows. So this way, each time you guys need a document created, whether it's an invoice or a contract or whatever that may be, you're not actually having to manually create that document, but instead, based on certain triggers, you'll be able to automate that happening. From there, we're going to get into some of the more advanced features of Documint. So, namely looping and conditional logic. So looping is awesome if you have a list of a bunch of line items that you want to be shown on your document. Instead of having to manually, tell Documint to show each one, you'll be able to actually loop through that data saving you a ton of time on your end. And then for the conditional logic, that is for, say you want to show or hide information based on, for example, if someone that's in New York, you want to show one thing, and say someone else is in California, you want to show another thing. Instead of needing a New York template and a California template, you'll be able to do that both from the same template with conditional logic. So Josh is going to show us how to do that. Then at the end, we'll just do a quick couple minutes just walking through setting up the integration to make sure you're ready to go on your own. And then we're going to wrap it up with a live Q&A. So any questions you have, get those ready. Just a couple quick reminders. If you do have questions as we're going along, feel free to either put them in the chat here, or if you guys see down below in the Q&A section of the Zoom, you can ask a question there. You can show your name, do it anonymously, whatever you're more comfortable with. But that's where we'll be taking the questions from at the end there. So if something comes up you don't want to forget, throw it in the chat, throw it in the Q&A, and we'll get to it on the back end. And then last reminder here is you're going to be emailed a recording of this webinar. So we're recording right now. If you miss something, if you got to get out a couple minutes early, you will have that recording. So just keep an eye on your inbox afterwards, and you're going to get a recording of this. This way, you'll always be able to reference back to that if any questions come up while you're automating on your own. So without further ado, I want to bring in our expert of automation, Josh Mamroud here. Josh, take it away.
Thanks, Colton. Appreciate the introduction. Hi, everybody. My name is Josh Mamroud. I am the founder of Documint, and I'll be your guide through the HubSpot integration today. So, yeah, without spending too much time in my introduction, I'm just going to hop right into it and show what this HubSpot document integration is all about. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right. Are you able to see my screen? Excellent. All right. So this should be a screen that everybody's familiar with. We're in the deals object in HubSpot. So what the HubSpot document integration allows you to do is create custom documents from your HubSpot data beyond what you can already do with, say, the quotes feature that's built into HubSpot, right? You're limited in the functionality, the design, and Document gives you a way to take your HubSpot data and create a PDF in any design that you want and automate that and attach it back to your records in HubSpot. So real quick, we'll give you an overview of what the process looks like. So we'll scroll down on the right-hand side in the cards, and we'll go down to the Document app, and we'll click Create Document. Now, while this is loading, currently, at the time of this recording, Document works with, or the HubSpot document integration works with contacts, companies, deals, and tickets. But we're going to be releasing an update soon that extends that functionality to custom objects and other types of native objects that you don't currently have access to. And I'll give you a sneak peek of that at the end, what that looks like. But for today's demonstration, I'm going to be using the live version of the application. So when you first launch the Document app, I've already gone ahead and integrated it with my account here. So I'll show you at the end of this, at the end of the demo, how to set up the integration. I'd rather just show you the integration in action first. So we've launched it from the card on the sidebar in deals, and we're first presented with this select template view. So this is where we're going to select the template that we want to generate the document from. I've already created a template here for deals, and I'm going to select that template, and then you'll see it automatically generates a preview of what that document is going to be. And we can see that right here. And this is coming from our Document account. So there's some fields that are being populated already. There's some that we'll fill in a little bit later, but this is what you'll see. And this is just at this, what we're looking at right here is just a preview. So if you actually want to generate the document, what you'll do is you'll come over here, you'll click generate. Document will re-render the document, and you'll see here that it's been attached to our the current record that we're on. So if we close this, we can come back out and we'll just refresh, because HubSpot, there's a bit of a delay if we don't refresh it and seeing that but we'll go over to activities and then notes. And then we can see the document that we just created has been attached to this record as a note right here. We can access it. And also in the sidebar under attachments, we'll be able to see it right here. So we can go ahead and click that. And that's stored in your HubSpot file system. And you'll be able to share a link if you need to and send that out, or just keep it attached to the current record. Now that is stored in HubSpot. That's not stored in Document. Files that are generated by Document live for a maximum of 24 hours in Document, then they're automatically deleted, but it will stay in your HubSpot account until you delete it, or until you delete it. So that is a high level of the HubSpot document integration. We also support automations. So if we come over here to automations and workflows, you can create a document. This workflow doesn't have a trigger set. We'll go through this a little bit later, but what will happen is you can set any kind of trigger that you'd like that HubSpot allows you to. So a deal being created, a contact being modified, any trigger that you want, even on a schedule, and it will then generate a document and attach it back to that document, that record. So switching back over to deals. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how to set up your document template and connect it with the data in HubSpot. So we'll come back down to the document app on the right-hand side. We'll go ahead and launch that. And as I mentioned, we're using this HubSpot sales quote template. So, oops, this is the wrong application. I apologize. This is the one I want. And now, while this is generating the preview, we'll switch back over to Document. And we'll open that template. So this is the document dashboard. This is where we'll see the list of all of our templates and assets, settings. So let's go ahead and open that template. All right, and what we're looking at here is the document template designer. So this is where you'll be doing most of the design work for your templates. And as I mentioned, we already have this pre-made template. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of the template designer. We'll be making some modifications, and I'll show you how to add your data from HubSpot into this template. So on the left-hand side here, we have our components or our elements that we can drag and drop into our template, just like so. We have on the right side, now that we've added that in, you'll see on the left-hand side that we have properties selected now. These are the properties for the selected component. So we can do things like add logic. That's what Colton was talking about earlier. We'll be walking through that a little later. You can change the spacing for this component. You can change the text formatting, layout formatting, background colors, images, borders, all different types of style properties. And it's not just this component that we've selected. We actually have a whole kind of a tree of components in our template. And we can see that on the right-hand side in the layers panel. So this is showing us all of the components that are in our template right now. And you can see that where there's a row, there's a column, and a text element. And there's two different types of elements in Document. We have layout elements and content elements. Layout elements will help you to structure the layout of your document, of your template, and the content elements are there to add content. So pretty straightforward. All right, so I think that's enough of a high-level overview. Let's switch back over to HubSpot and start adding some of our tokens from our deals object into this template. We'd like to add some more data from our deals, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we'll switch back over to HubSpot. And in the HubSpot app, HubSpot document app, we're going to come down over to this view tokens. And that's going to show us all of the tokens for our deals object. Currently, we launched this HubSpot app from the deals object. So this is the main, these are the main tokens that we're going to be seeing. And then we also have associations, and we'll be walking through both of those. So just to keep things simple at first, let's go ahead and have a look and let's add a close date. So we'll come down to close date. We can also search if we want. That seems the most relevant right now. So we'll go ahead and copy this token. So just Control C to copy it, and then we're going to switch back over to Document. And we're going to add the close date. Let's add it right here. Okay, so this double curly bracket syntax is what Document uses to place your data into your template or into your document when the template is being merged with data and producing a document. This is the syntax that's used. And you don't have to really worry about that because the Document app will provide you with all the tokens that you need, as we were just seeing here. So now let's close this and create a preview by clicking Refresh Preview. And here you can see the date, the close date of this deal. Now that doesn't look that great in the current format. That's probably not something that you're going to want to share with, send outside to your customers, clients, whatever it is. So we're going to format that a bit, and we can do that pretty easily by going back to the tokens, and over on the right side of the close date, we're going to enable the formatter or add formatter. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us a basic date format that we can copy this again and switch back over to Document, our document template, and replace the original token with this new token. So you still have close date in here. All Document has done is added this $date to tell it that it's going to be formatted as a date, and then this is the date pattern that it's going to use to format the date. Now we have tons of date formats that Document supports. You can find them all on the Document website in the documentation. This is just a simple one that's going to display the month in 2 digits. We'll bring that down to 1, the day in 2 digits, actually just 1 or 2, and then the year at the end. So we'll go ahead and switch back over to HubSpot and refresh the preview. And here it is. Yep, here it is. So I believe so. Let me switch back over. Yep, deal name. Yep, right over here. So here is our close date. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit, make that a little easier to see. So what I've shown you so far is how to add a token from the HubSpot document app and then add it to your document template so that when you go to generate a document from that object type, in this case deals, Document will automatically place the data where it belongs. And what we've also seen is how to format that data. We also support number formatting, currency formatting, time formatting, duration formatting, and I believe that's about it. But within those, there's a lot that you can do with it. It also supports time zones, different locales. So if you want to use a euro symbol, if you want to display it in yen, all of that is supported within Document. Okay, so moving right along, we can see over here that this template is inactive. All that means is that it's going to have a document watermark on the bottom. So when you're ready to go live with your document and start generating documents that don't have any branding, all you have to do is change your template to active, and we'll do that by switching over to the document template designer and then toggling this switch right up here. All right, so now I also want to remove just one piece down here. Okay, so switching back over to HubSpot, now we can see if we reload the app, which it would generate the correct document either way, but I just want you to see that it's now active. You can see the green symbol over here, letting us know that this template is active. So this generates with the watermark down here only because this is a preview, but once we click generate, and it gets added to our deal, we'll see that that document is without a watermark. So now we just refresh as we did before. And we can see that this is the document that we just created. And there it is, a clean document. All right. All right, so this is all well and good. But as Colton mentioned, Document also has some more advanced features, such as looping, conditional logic, and a bunch of other, similar to the date and number formatters. We have a bunch of other functions that you can use in Document as well, in your document templates. So let's start with looping. So we've seen it a little bit in this document. You'll see that there's already some looping in place, but I'm going to show you how to set it up. So these are the line items that we have associated with this deal. And the way that we've configured that is by, again, launching the, well, first I want to show you that these are the line items associated with this deal. They are down here. So these are just two sample line items. And now if we want to add them in our template or configure our template to use them, we'll launch the application again. Select our template and navigate to view tokens. And for this, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to association properties. And with association properties, we'll see line items, contacts that are related or associated with this deal, companies that are associated with this deal, and tickets that are associated with this deal. As I mentioned, we are supporting more associations and more object types in the next release, which I'll give you a sneak peek of at the end. But these are the ones that are currently supported, and the ones that we want to display now are line items. So we have two different options when displaying associations or lists of items. We can either display a single item, say there's only a single company associated with this deal, then we wouldn't want to necessarily loop over all of the associated companies because there's only ever going to be one. So what we would be able to do in that case is we'd be able to just select the first item here. And what this is going to do is this is going to give us a syntax that is targeting the first item in that list of associated companies. And we can see that by the .0 field name. That's going to .0 just means it's the first item in the list, and that's going to give us the about us value of the first company associated with this deal. But what we're here for is looping. So let's go over to line items. And this, as I mentioned, there's two options. The second is looping, and that would be the all items selection here. So once we've selected all items, then we'll want to copy this token. And you'll notice that it doesn't have the curly brackets. And that's because when we switch over to document and we go to loop over an element, we don't need the curly brackets. And I'll show you that in just a second. So we're actually going to use the layer panel to select the row because this is the element that we want to repeat or loop over. So rows, there's two main types of layout components. There's rows and columns. If you loop over a column, it'll get repeated horizontally. And if you loop over a row, it'll get repeated vertically. You can also loop over content elements. So if you have a text element and you want to repeat that text element, it'll be placed in a column and it'll repeat vertically. So let's go ahead and edit logic now that we have the row selected. And then we'll switch over to the repeat loop tab. And you can see that I've already got it in here, but I'll clear it out. And we'll just paste in the value that we had on our clipboard that we copied from the Documint HubSpot app. All right, so nothing's really going to change, but that's how you set up the first part of looping, right? What we've just done is we've instructed Document to go and repeat this row for every item that it finds in line items. And now that we're looping over it, now we can display fields from line items within that looped row. So you'll notice over here that we just have name being displayed. And the reason we can do that is because it's already within the context of line items. It's a little bit, a little bit to wrap your head around at first, but once you see it in action, it starts to click. So as we've seen when we generate a document or a preview, we have, since I haven't really changed anything yet, this is what's being displayed. I showed you that we have the two line items on the associated with this deal, and that's what we're seeing here. So I've left this blank intentionally so that we can display that on our own. So we'll open up tokens again. We'll head over to line items. Instead of first item, we'll do all items. And then we want to find quantity. All right, here's the quantity. This jumps back, but we'll just select all items, copy the quantity, and switch back. Oops. Switch back over to document. And now we can paste that right over here. All right. Now quantity is going to be a number. In this case, it's only going to be a low number. It's going to be 1, most likely. But if we wanted to format this and say if we were going to have over 999, if we wanted to have a thousands separator in there, a comma to separate that, we could easily do that just by putting a $ number and then a space and then the name of the variable in the middle. And then at the end, in double quotes, we'll add 0,0. This is just a number format pattern that tells Document to format it. If it gets to a certain size, put a thousandths separator in there. Okay, so we'll switch back over to HubSpot and we'll test that change. And there it is. So each of these products only has 1. Each of these line items only has a quantity of 1. But that's going to be different for each deal. So if we went to another deal that had line items on it, it would just show the line items associated with that deal. That's really the power of Document. It allows you to create these documents dynamically without any human intervention. And if you really want to go hands-free, that's where you set up the automations and the workflows, and you can trigger it to run in the background. You never have to touch a thing. Okay, so let's finish this off by adding the subtotal. So we'll go to view tokens. How are we doing on time? 2:28. Okay. So we'll come back over to line items and we'll search for we have a total. I don't think those are the perhaps amount. We'll just add the net price. Not a big deal. Oh, that is the amount. Okay. So we'll apply a formatter to this. We'll switch over to all items, and then we'll select this, copy it, switch back over to our document template, and paste it into the final column. So because this is a currency, this is going to be an amount. We'll also want to put a $ in the beginning. Now the $ doesn't always render as it's not. You'll see it in the rendered value, but it's actually just a placeholder for the currency symbol. So if we were to change the locale to say, the euro or the pound or the yen, we would still use the $, but instead of at the time of rendering, that would get swapped out with the appropriate currency symbol. So let's say that we also want to add some decimal precision. So we just add 2 zeros at the end there to tell a document to add 2 decimal places. We'll switch back over to HubSpot and we'll refresh the preview. All right, and there we can see we have our unit price, we have the amount, the subtotal for each of these formatted in the way that we want. We've formatted a date. We've looped over all of the line items in this deal, and we have a pretty good looking template so far. Now, Colton also mentioned conditional logic. So where does that come into play? Well, let's say, for example, in the example that Colton shared, you have a contract and you only want to display certain legal text depending on the state. So if the state is New York, New Jersey, or Pennsylvania, you're going to display one set of legal text. Any other state, you're going to display something else. With conditional logic, that's what it allows you to do. So we'll show an example of that, and we'll do that by switching Oops, I think we could have left that open. But actually, this will be based on the deal amount. So let's say that the deal amount is over 200, and we want to include a specific set of text, right? So if we switch back over to our template, this set of text over here, if it's over $200, the total amount is over $200, then we want to include this "you are our most valued customer" text. And if it's not, we'll leave it out. So as you can see, I've already added the condition here, but I'll reset it so that we can start fresh. So we'll switch back over to HubSpot. We'll launch the document app, which we would have already had open if I didn't close it. We'll open our tokens, and we'll ungroup the properties. You guys have probably seen these before. These are the groups that HubSpot has for each object type with the properties. Sometimes it makes it, if you're familiar with the groups, it makes it a bit easier to find them just by navigating to the group. So we can go to, say, deal revenue and get the amount value. So we'll copy this, switch back over to document, and then we'll paste that in. Now it's going to yell at us and tell us it doesn't want curly brackets, so we'll just remove those. And here's where we'll set the operator. So we're looking for greater than or equal to. And here's where we'll set the value. So 200. And click save. And now we've just told Documint that if the amount of this deal is greater than $200, or 200 rather, it doesn't know that those are dollars, it will display this bit of text down here. And if not, it's going to hide it. So if we switch back over to HubSpot, we can see, we'll refresh the preview. And we see that we don't see the "you are our most valued customer." So let's go ahead and change the amount. Can we, okay, say it's 220. We'll launch Documint again. And here, now we'll see that text, "you are our most valued customer." So that's conditional logic in a nutshell. It just lets you control the what's being displayed in the document at the time of being rendered, right? So every document is going to have different data that's being passed into it. And if you don't want to maintain several different templates for different conditions or different scenarios, what you can do is you can build out a single template and just add the components that you want that are going to be conditionally shown or hidden, and add that logic to it, and then it'll just work all the time. So it's a lot less maintenance. You just maintain one template rather than 6, 10, however many it might be. Okay, so that is looping and conditional logic. I just want to touch on a little bit that Documint does support other functions. We're not going to go into them, but it does support Markdown. It supports custom variables. So if you're building out a really complex template and you need to store information to be reused later in your template, you can do that, or you can perform calculations. So Documint supports arithmetic operators or arithmetic functions: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and a few others. So if you perform some kind of calculation, you want to store it in a variable and reference it later, or you're going to use it multiple times, you can do that. You can also filter if you have lists of data. So let's say that we have line items, and we don't want to display all line items. We just want to display line items that have an amount greater than 0. What you can do is you can filter that data and create a new list that is only items that are that have items that have an amount of more than 0, and display just those items. You can also do grouping. So if you have, say, categories, you have, in this example, you have line items, and line items have and products have different categories, and you want to group all of the products together by their category, but the data doesn't come over like that. You can do that grouping right within Documint. So really, really handy feature there. It affords you a lot of flexibility and shows you the power of Documint templates. Now we also have, as I mentioned, different formatting for dates, numbers, currencies, times, all that. You can have dynamic images. We didn't cover images here yet, but you can certainly add images to your templates. So very easy, just using the image element. So we'll go ahead and add it right over here. We'll add this document logo. It's a bit big, just resize it. So you can add static images, but you can also add dynamic images. So if we're going to align this vertically and then align it on the right, just like so. So you can have custom page sizes. So, obviously you have the standard, page size, paper sizes, letter, legal, tabloid, A3 through A6. But if you want to define a custom page size, you can do that as well. Make it really any size you want. So that's a really nice feature right there. Change the orientation to landscape. You can have custom file names, right? So every time the document gets generated, if you wanted to, include the name of the deal, for example, when you're generating a document, right? So if we were to do deal name, just like this, invoice, that's not a problem. And now when we switch back over to HubSpot and we click generate, you'll see that Acme Code deal invoice has just been saved to the notes. That's because Documint dynamically generated that name from the pattern that we just gave it. Switching back over, you probably noticed that you can add QR codes, barcodes, checkboxes, buttons. These buttons can also be links. So there's really a lot of flexibility, and there's a lot more components that are coming that we've been working on, native table elements and such. So I'll keep an eye out for that. We also have another big release coming out in beta. But yeah, so if you've been using Documint already, that'll be an exciting update. It'll allow you to drag in tokens and variables without having to use the curly bracket syntax, and a lot of other features as well. So that's a really exciting update that's coming. So switching back over, I just want to lastly show you the automation. So we'll set up a workflow. So we're going to create a new workflow from scratch. This is going to be based on our deal because that's the template that we've been using. And here we're going to set up our trigger. So every workflow starts by with a trigger. That trigger can be time-based or it can be action-based or event-based. So an event might be a record name changes or a property on a record changes or a record is updated, deleted, created, any of those. So we're going to, when a record event occurs, and we're going to say when a property value is changed. So we're going to put it on the deal stage, and we're going to make it is any of and closed one. All right, so what we're saying here is that when the deal stage property on the deal changes to closed one, automatically run this workflow. So we'll go ahead and save that. We've got that set. And then the next step is just to add the document action, create document, and we're going to say the HubSpot sales quote. That's the template that we've been using. Click save. And that's it. That's really all you have to do. There are certain properties, if you're familiar with workflows and that, actions you can use the kind of output from previous actions. Documint has that available as well. You can access the file name, file path, and a bunch of other properties from that document that's been generated. But in this case, we're just going to store it to the, attach it back to the document or to the record. So we will review and publish. Everything looks good. Excellent. Okay, so let's give this a shot. Head over to deals. And we'll go back to our deal. I'm going to change the stage if I could find it. Here we go. To closed one. And it does take a couple moments. When workflows run, they get put into a queue. So, it's not always going to be immediate that you see it, but I don't think that you're going to be watching the record when this changes when the document gets generated anyway. So we'll go ahead and refresh it. And here's our document. So it was just created at 2:41. It's been attached to this record. And as I mentioned before, you can also see it down here on the right side. Okay, so we've covered a lot so far. We've covered generating a document manually. We've covered modifying and editing your document template. We've covered naming. We've covered tokens and variables, looping, dynamic or conditional logic, formatting. We've covered different functions and now automations. So there are two last things that I want to show you. One is going to be, as I mentioned at the beginning, is how to install the Document app for those of you just getting started. It's very simple. All you have to do is head over to the app marketplace, go to Document. Now, I've already installed it, but what it's going to do is you're going to have this button here. You click Install the app. It'll ask you, do you grant Document permission to access different objects in your account? You'll click yes, and then it'll be installed. And then the next thing that you have to do is add your Document API key. So that's a key that you get from Document and you add it inside the HubSpot app. So first we'll go over to settings at the top here and then go to integrations and connected apps. We'll come over here to Document, go to settings and add edit API key. Now I've already added the API key, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new one and show you how to update it. So for that, we'll come back over to Document. We'll come back to the Document dashboard and go to settings and then integrations. And this is all documented on our website. This is going to be in the recording. So if I'm going too fast, don't worry, you can always go back. And then from here, we're just going to come up to the API keys section and click create API key. Very simple. We'll say HubSpot demo and create. Now you'll see this string of characters. We'll copy that. And this is now on my clipboard. And so all I got to do is come over here and paste it in and click save. It'll verify that the key is correct and we're good to go. Now we can close this and your app will just work the way that I've been showing it to you. So that's the installation process. Really simple. If you have any questions, we're always here to help. We got a great support team and they'll help you get set up if you have any questions. So don't worry about that. And lastly, the exciting piece is the sneak peek of the latest update. We're hoping to have it ready for you today, but we weren't able to make it. But I'm still going to give you a sneak peek as a reward for joining on the call. So we'll come back over to deals. And it really, at this point, it doesn't matter which object you're generating, you're launching the Document app from. So just like all other card-based apps in the HubSpot platform, you can only launch them from contacts, companies, and deals. So that's what we have with Document. And we'll scroll down here. This will be live for everybody pretty soon. So we just got to refresh one more time. Looks like the server wants to sleep. And here we go. All right, so this part looks the same as before, but now once we select the template, you'll see that you can actually change the record type over here. And so we don't have just contacts, companies, and deals and tickets anymore. We have products, payments, quotes. We don't have any custom objects in this HubSpot account. However, if we did, you would see them in here. So let's say that we wanted to change it to tickets, which is already supported, but just like that, you're able to select your ticket. If you want to do a deeper search for a different record, you can do that right in here. Just launch this record selection view, and you can navigate through all your pages. We don't really have that much data in this account, so there's not much to search, but you select your record and then generate your document, and that's it. So very, very easy. The token addition, adding tokens, it's all the same. But the big thing here is that it now supports custom objects and other native objects, as you've seen here. So we're looking at records, but you'll see it up here. Okay, that is about it. Colton, do we have any questions that came through?
We do have a few that came through. So guys, we'll move on to our end. Hey, just want to say thank you, Josh, for all that. That was awesome. Showing us everything.
My pleasure.
So let's dive into some of the questions we had here. So guys, if I know we had a couple come through during the presentation, but if anything comes up now on the end, please ask them either, whether it's in the chat or in the Q&A section that you see down there at the bottom, and we will be happy to get to those. So one question here, Josh, can a document have more than one page, for example, 10 in the case of an employment agreement?
Yeah, absolutely. So document will generate as many pages necessary from the data that is contained in the document. So a document can be 1 page, a document can be 200 pages. There's really no limit. It will dynamically grow or shrink depending on the content that's in that template.
Awesome.
Great question, though.
That's always nice. Yeah, as many pages as you need, depending on the document. That is always a good thing. All right. Next question we have here, and this one I'm excited about because I'll let Josh get into it a bit, but we do have some cool stuff coming down the line that he mentioned a bit earlier. Can you tell us a little bit more about the document integration with Airtable?
Yeah. So we do have some big updates coming. We have 3 main types of integration with Airtable. So there's the native Airtable app, which is the extension similar to the HubSpot app that we just went through. Airtable's got their own marketplace that you can install plugins or applications. They've changed the name of it a few times. So there's that. That's the easiest way to get started. There's also our generation link and automation script. So just like you can automate documents here in HubSpot, you can also automate documents in Airtable. And there's the generation link, which allows you to generate documents directly from the record, right? It puts a button right into your table. If you're using interfaces, you can add the button to interfaces. If you're using a third party, I forget what they're called, but the application, no code application builders such as Softer, Stacker, any of the like, you can even put the buttons in there so that your end users will be able to generate documents just by clicking that button. And as far as the update that's coming, this is a big update for our Airtable integration because, and it's coming soon for HubSpot as well. But now what you'll be able to do is connect directly to Airtable, pull in all of your Airtable fields, and just drag and drop them directly into your template. And no need for the double curly bracket syntax. No need to map the fields. No need to know the syntax for number formatting, date formatting, and those are the types. It gives you an interface for adding custom formatting. You can add filter logic. You can add multiple conditional logics, like multiple conditions in a statement. So a lot of exciting stuff there. And yeah, the best part about that is you can just connect to Airtable and start dragging and dropping fields right into your document, and it just works.
Yeah, that's one I'm personally looking forward to a lot as one of the the less technical users of Document. I call it the goodbye curly brackets update, So I can't wait for that one to launch, man. On Airtable, on HubSpot as well. Make it super easy for the user, drag and drop those tokens right in, and save even more time than you're already saving with Document.
Yeah, it's really going to speed up the template creation process.
Absolutely. So we have another question here. We did kind of get to it at the end there in the presentation, but if you want to just give a quick rundown, which HubSpot objects does Document support and I think it'd be worth answering now. And then in the future, what are we looking to support?
Yeah. So currently we're supporting deals, contacts, companies, and tickets. And for deals, obviously you saw line item associations. So I don't remember each of the associations for each of those kind of native object types, but they do all support those objects as associations. So like deal supports companies as the company associations and vice versa. So that's what's in place right now, but very, very soon we're going to be releasing this update that I just demoed, and that's going to include the custom object support, and also a few of the other native HubSpot objects as well. So products, there's a few other that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but the big one's custom objects.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's exciting. I'm kind of expanding that the capabilities with HubSpot integration there. All
Yep.
right, so that was everything that we had there. Any last minute for you guys? Appreciate you guys sticking with us to the end here. Any last minute questions? Put them in the chat, put them in the Q&A. But if everything's answered, we will, kind of close it up here. I'll give an extra minute just in case anyone's like me and they're a very slow typer. Did that? All right. I think we are all good. So,
Awesome.
like I said, really, really appreciate you guys joining us. It was awesome. Thank you, Josh, for giving us all those insights. Ton of value. I know I learned a couple things, even being a document user already. So, you guys, the next step now, this is if you don't have this already, but the next step is going to be to install the Document app on the HubSpot marketplace. So I'm sure some of you guys already have that, but for those that don't, I'm going to put the link in chat right now. All right. Let me grab that link
Yeah, I
for
want
you.
to thank everybody for joining as well. I didn't see who came in on my side, but I know there was a good amount of people there. And yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in, and hope you got something valuable from it. And we look forward to seeing you in Document and in the support, possibly in the support chat.
Yeah, here, let me show you guys just some of the resources we have here. So if you have any questions, feel free to email support@document.me. We also have live support on our site. So our team over there is awesome. They're ready and willing to help you guys. Ton of knowledge. And if something comes up while you're using it, feel free to get that live support at that moment. Or if you want to, you can also email. So just support@document.me for any questions or clarifications. For you guys, if you could follow us on social media, and what this will do, just give you updates on any, the timing of any updates coming out, any content and articles that we're putting out for increased knowledge and tips and tricks, and just to stay up to date. So we have Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I should say X, but I still call it Twitter, X, and then Facebook there. So follow us on there, stay updated, and please let us know if you guys have any additional questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Colton. It was a good time.
Yes, very good time. Thanks again, Josh. And on that note, if you guys don't have any more questions, we will end the webinar here. Thanks again for coming, and we'll see you guys at the next one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.